issues between what we are as a movement and the way it's been portrayed in the media and we feel misrepresented. Also, as well, I'd like to clarify our intentions and ask for help as well. So first, the Occupy Together movement started in New York City, Occupy Wall Street, as a protest movement against corporate greed and corporate manipulation of politics. Now, it's not against a particular politician, it's not against the government, it's not against a particular policy issue. It's against corporate greed and corporate manipulation of politics, something that I think few Americans have a problem with protesting. Now, it's gotten a lot of bad press, been called the leader of this movement, and our last two meetings that we've had in El Paso, the last of which was a meeting, it wasn't a protest in and of itself. Just to clarify the mistake made by the El Paso Times and other groups. We're just regular folks, regular people. People who are at the event included veterans, firefighters, small business owners, labor representatives, teachers, students. It's regular people. We're your neighbors, and we're not out to get anyone. We just would like corporate interests not to be represented over our own. Now, the General Assembly meeting made the decision to begin our occupation protest on Saturday the 15th in San Francisco Plaza at 8 a.m. Now, there are a couple issues with that. One being it coincides with the Shock the Block event. And I understand in terms of that, I've talked to Mr. Fife regarding that matter. And we wanted to clarify our intentions in regards to the event. We have kind of 3 golden rules for all actions we do. 1, stay peaceful. 2, stay sober. And 3, leave the place looking better than we found it. And I understood chuckle about that last comment, but it's when bad press is received, it takes one bad egg, to ruin the omelet. And so one person brings alcohol and is publicly intoxicated, that's what gets portrayed on the media. And we don't, their kids at this event, their parents at this event, we don't want that sort of thing. That's not what we're about. But so some of the things we talked about with the folks at MCAT is that we won't have any profanity in our slogans or in our materials of any nature. While the artists are working and while the event is going, we will not chant or have a general assembly as to not interfere with the event.
Mr. Jastrzemski, your time, sir.
Okay.
I'll move to extend his time.
Go ahead, sir. Okay, thank you. And then also to, we'd like to make an effort to not interfere in any way, shape, or form. Having said that, we understand that the decision made by the General Assembly wasn't made soon enough for us to comply with the 72-hour time limit or the 72-hour time limit to apply for a permit. And that's why we're here today to ask the council what steps can we take to comply with the city's wishes, what steps can we comply with your wishes for safety, for our own safety, for everything involved in this conducive matter. And then secondly, and I'll start to be real brief, recently, this movement is in over 100 cities internationally. And some city councils, but most famously Los Angeles, have openly declared their support for the Occupy movement. And we ask that the council consider doing so in El Paso.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson, he asked a few questions. Can you address those?
Yes, my staff, I believe, have been meeting with either you directly or other members of your organization regarding the fact that the park has been permitted for Shock the Block. It has been permitted for that purpose and it's been laid out. We can't just double permit a site where 2 activities are going to conflict. And it's not they're going to conflict because of anything that they're doing. It's just that you've already got a major activity that has the whole park been laid out specifically for that purpose. What we've tried to do is look for other options for them to have access to space, whether it's, you know, they're across the street from the park, there are a number, like the sidewalks or public space, they can occupy there without a permit. And we're happy to work with you on that, but the issue is we cannot permit you for a park that's already been permitted for another major event, for which there are vendors who are actually paying fees to participate. And Chock the Block actually occupies a lot of downtown space. I mean, it's a huge event. It occupies, and so we can get you a map of all the things that are specifically reserved, and we can show you all the other spaces that are public spaces that you could occupy without a permit for assembly, so long as you don't have, I think, amplification that requires a separate permit. So if you want to come by my office after this meeting, I'm on the 10th floor, city manager's office. I'll get the right people up there to give you guidance and direction. But what we can't do is give you a permit for San Jacinto that's already been permitted, and that's the challenge.
Okay. Thank you so much for that help. I mean, I guess we can discuss that
Sure.
later on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. James Perry. Mr. Perry's topic is dog issue, and